And we are live. Happy Monday. Feel like I was just on here. I was on here a bunch last week. We had some great podcast episodes coming at you guys all week, last week, and the week before. If you're tuning in and you did not catch those episodes, I would scroll back through. Go on the YouTube page, scroll through. Coach Grace and I did an awesome podcast on recovering from injury. Coach Whitney and I did a great podcast about sleep. Both of those are on the Oxfit YouTube. So if you have not seen them, make sure you go check them out. But yeah, we're back for another awesome week 2 of our summer training cycle. This cycle is going to fly by. I can feel it. I know everybody's got some fun trips planned. A lot of us are coming back from spring break, from vacation. And I know that this is going to be the feeling until school goes back. People dip out, they come back in. But the workouts they're great. We have the perfect recipe to keep you guys super fit all summer long. Workouts that are easy to jump back into if you do go on a trip and you're trying to get back into the gym. I feel like all of them are really fun and really scalable, so that if you're maybe not feeling so great after coming back from vacation, it's no worries. You can just take it at your own speed and still get a lot out of it. It says I'm Coach Beefy right now. Let me change that real quick. Coach Sav. There we go. That's better. All right, yeah, well, like I said, week 2. And we started off this week with a really fun workout. I told people in class on Saturday, rest up this weekend. We've got thrusters and pull-ups on Monday. And thrusters and pull-ups are a classic combination that really just eat you up. They are a hard combo. It is, in my opinion, the perfect couplet of a push and a pull. And I know everybody had fun in class today working on it, especially the format we had, that 2 on, 2 off that we're all so familiar with. And that did give me some inspiration for the podcast today. So we're going to talk a little bit about why, even though the workouts are varied, they are quote unquote random, that there is a lot of thought that goes into it. And I've talked a lot about programming on this podcast. I've talked a lot about, our workout design, why Oxfit does things the way we do. But I think it's a conversation that can continue to be had, as people, get more into the gym and get a better understanding of why we train like this, why we don't come into the gym and do the same breakdown of stations every single day. We don't work for the same amount of time every single day. And there is a reason behind that, other than just me, throwing stuff at a wall and seeing what sticks. And everything really comes back to stimulus. And I say that, the stimulus of this workout. What's the stimulus today? What's the goal? But what does that actually mean? And that's what, every workout comes back to. So a stimulus is kind of the umbrella that goes over a lot of different things. So the duration of the workout, is it short or is it long? The intensity, are we pushing at max effort? Are we at a moderate pace? Are we somewhere in between, or are we just recovering? The load, how heavy is it? How many reps am I expecting you to do? Does it need to be a heavy weight or a lightweight? Different movement patterns. Are we doing super isolated movements? Or are we doing a lot of like compound lifts where we're, like today, you had to pick up a barbell, you had to squat with it, you had to press it overhead. There's a lot of moving parts that fall under the name of a thruster. And then what energy systems are we using? So how long you're working, how hard you're pushing, those are going to cause you to use and develop different energy systems. And you guys probably recognize that throughout the week. Today's workout, 2 minutes of really hard work and then 2 minutes of rest, that's going to feel so different than the workout we do on Wednesday, for example, where it's a 20-minute AMRAP with just a little bit of built-in rest, not a lot. And the reason why it's so important to go through those motions every week in a different order with different equipment is because we have to constantly keep it changing. If we repeat the same style of workout over and over again, the same time domain, the same movements, the same intensity, you will adapt and then you'll stop adapting. The body is incredibly efficient. It learns very quickly. So if your training doesn't evolve, your results won't either. And I think I talked about this a couple podcasts ago, with like chasing soreness as your indicator of whether you're getting a good workout or not. And I think what people think is they go somewhere new, they do a new style of workout, it makes them really sore for a couple weeks, and then it becomes easy because they're working for, 1-minute stations every time they go to that gym, and they get the same amount of rest. They pick up the same set of dumbbells. They stand in the same spot. They do, the same. And that's going to reflect in your results. You're going to get the same results. They're going to plateau. They're going to stay exactly where they are. And that leads me into, the first reason why changing the stimulus is so important. It's that plateau. We don't want your body to adapt to the repeated stress. We want the stress to keep changing. Doesn't mean I want you guys to be sore every day. It doesn't mean I want you to, not be able to sit in your car, walk out of the gym, or sit down on the toilet. We just want to challenge our body in different ways so that our progress doesn't stall. And that's also going to help us build really well-rounded fitness. If you train one way, you get really good at one thing. And that's not always bad. Maybe that's important to you in, whatever season of life you're in. You're training for a triathlon or a road race or something very specific, then yes, of course, you probably need to train a very specific way. But in general, as people that are just trying to live their fittest, happiest, healthiest lives, we want your fitness to be very well-rounded. And real fitness is going to come from that versatility. Everyone needs strength. We all need to have endurance. We all need speed, power, coordination. And then if you choose to focus only on one of those things and try to make them even better than the rest, that's great. But we don't want to be just good at one thing. We want to be well-rounded athletes. And then changing the stimulus is really going to help us manage fatigue and our recovery. So if every workout is high intensity, your nervous system is going to get fried. If every workout is just a slow burn hour workout where our heart rate is staying exactly the same, we're not going to build aerobic capacity. So we need to have that variance in, the stimulus, like I've been saying, to maintain how well we recover and how well our body adapts to different training styles. So all of those things are very important, but how do I make sure that across all of these classes with different coaches, with, different people in class, different times of day, how do we make sure that every class gets the same stimulus? And the answer to that is the clock. So the clock is going to run the entire OxFit class. And like I've said before, there's a reason why we don't do workouts that are just 4 rounds, do it as fast as you can. And you should be able to do this in 8 minutes. But if you choose the wrong weight, it could take you 20 minutes. If you go too light, it could take you 4 minutes. So somehow, as an athlete, you need to be able to look at a workout and say, okay, I should do this weight, I should do this pull-up scale, I should do it this way to make sure that I finish those rounds in 8 minutes. That's a lot of pressure on you guys as athletes to make sure that you basically program the workout yourself, right? It's written up there, but you have to be your own coach and you have to decide, how am I going to make sure I get what I need to get out of this? And I try to take all of that away by putting everything on a clock. So 2 minutes of work, 2 minutes of rest. That should flip a switch in your brain that says, man, I'm going to be really out of breath and really working hard for 2 minutes, and then I'm going to recover. A 20-minute AMRAP. Okay, I'm going to be moving for 20 minutes straight. That tells my brain that I probably shouldn't be bent over, out of breath, about to puke after the first 2 minutes, right? We get good at understanding what the workout is asking from us based on what the clock says. And I think our coaches do a really great job of helping you guys see that as well. So yeah, we can go ahead. Let's break down this week together. I've started posting our week at a glance on Instagram, which I think is a really fun 60-second video that you guys are going to get every Monday that just kind of puts me in front of you running through the workouts. But I think on our Monday Motivation podcast, it's going to be a really great idea to go a little bit further in detail, so that if you want some more information about each of these workouts, how you should approach them, you have it on your weekly Monday podcast. So today, if you have or haven't done the workout, we've got a very fast 3 rounds. Every round, you've got 2 minutes of work, 2 minutes of rest. We're doing thrusters and pull-ups. The goal here is to choose a scale, so a weight and the way you're going to do your pull-ups that allows you to move fast, but also continue to work on those technical skills with the pull-ups. And this 2 minute on, 2 minute off with these 2 movements is really going to help us build up that aerobic capacity. And then, of course, we have some isolated lifting after the workout where we can focus on building some strength and improving technique. Tomorrow, we have a classic 1 minute station. So 1 minute of double unders, 1 minute of ring dips, 1 minute of dumbbell bench press, and then we get a minute of rest. So that's about 3 minutes of work, 1 minute of rest. We're doing it 4 times. And our goal is to be improving our skill and our strength under fatigue. Those double unders, that jump rope is going to get our heart rate up. It's going to get us tired. And then you're going to have to move over and perform a more technical movement like a ring dip. All right. A lot of us are learning that skill for the first time. And then we're going to have to move some weight with those dual dumbbells. I recommend tomorrow to choose scales that are challenging, but still allow us to keep moving for the majority of that minute. And with workouts like this, I recommend, if you're an athlete that's trying to get better at double unders, you want to start using heavier dumbbells, you want to finally do a ring dip and stop doing block dips, that's great. But tomorrow is not the day to try to do all 3 of those things at one time. So I would recommend picking one station to challenge yourself. Maybe you choose a heavier set of dumbbells tomorrow, but you stick with singles on the jump rope and you do some banded or block ring dips. So we don't want to overdo it. We want to make it a little bit easier on our body, on our mind. Pick an area to challenge yourself, still work in the other 2, rather than say, okay, today's the day that I'm finally going to get double unders. I'm also finally going to do a ring dip, and I'm going to use 50-pound dumbbells, even though I've never done that before. We don't need to do all 3. Let's just pick one and really focus on it and let the other 2 just be what they are. On Wednesday, we have a little bit of an interval workout in disguise. We're going to be moving for 20 minutes, trying to get as many rounds as we can with some movements that are not super technical. So we should be able to stay moving the entire time, but we do have a built-in 1 minute rest after every round. So definitely not an all-out sprint. We want to pick a moderate pace that we can keep up, but we are going to get 60 seconds every round to catch our breath, recover a little bit. My advice would be after your first round, after that 60 seconds, look at the clock. Probably going to be about the 5 minute mark. Try to get every round to finish at the same time. Okay. We don't want to finish the first round in 2 minutes. And then by the time we get to the end of the workout, it's taking us 6-7 minutes to get through it. We want to find a pace that we can stick with and stay consistent despite that 1 minute of rest. And then on Thursday, in my whiteboard video, I said this was a choose your own adventure workout. If you come to the gym Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you're probably going to be feeling tired, a little sore. I would use this kind of cardio focused stations workout to just move. Pick a steady pace and just stay moving across each round. If you haven't been to the gym a whole lot this week, Thursday, you could really make it hurt if you wanted to. You could really push the pace on all of these stations and have a really hard workout. It really just depends on you and what you want to get out of it. But there's nothing wrong with coming to the gym on Thursday and saying, I'm going to cruise, I'm just going to move my body and I'm going to, kind of rest, active recovery, and then get ready to be on the barbell on Friday because we have a really fun workout. It's going to be an interval workout, a little bit different because we are going to be rotating between complete rest, a moderate intensity, and a very high intensity every single round. So we're going to have 2 minutes where we're doing 200 meters outside or on a machine. Plenty of time. This is not a sprint. This is a very controlled, moderate pace to get our heart rate up just a little bit before we hop on a barbell, and I'm expecting you to be deadlifting, hang cleaning, and overhead pressing for 2 minutes straight, as many rounds as we can get, and then we are going to rest. So this is a perfect workout to get some good building blocks in for improving our VO2 max and our power output with those heavy weights on a barbell. And then lastly, Saturday's workout, we are back to some on and off. It's going to be 3 minutes on, 3 minutes off. And with some fun movements, we're on machines, we're doing wall balls, push-ups. I think Saturday's workout is a fun workout to be a little bit reckless. I would say go out hot that first round. See what you can do in 3 minutes. You're going to have 3 minutes to recover and see if you can keep up that pace. This would be a fun day to check in with yourself and say, okay, how fit am I? Can I hold this pace? Worst case scenario, maybe you fall off a little bit, but that's kind of what Saturdays are for. They're meant to be fun. They're just meant to be a good full body workout. So this would be a great day to maybe be a little reckless, go out a little hot and see what you can do. There's nothing wrong with doing that every once in a while. But yeah, we have a great week 2, great lineup of workouts this week. We are officially starting on May 1st our Beach Brawl training camps. I am working with some athletes. Coach Ant is working with some athletes. We have our eyes set on September Beach Brawl. We have some big goals set, and we are using these class workouts to help us train for that event. Like I said, end of September, so we've got plenty of time, but the training starts now. So if you're interested in testing your fitness, this is going to be a great opportunity. I would love to work with you and show you how you can still do these class workouts, but just take them to the next level. And then maybe we meet once a week for a little one-on-one session, but that's all it would take to get you ready to do something like a CrossFit competition, fitness competition at the beach, which why wouldn't you want to go do that at the beach? So if that interests you, interests any of y'all, please shoot me an email. I will tell you all about our training plan. It starts May 1st. We're super excited. And yeah, 17 minutes. I think I'm going to close it out. I hope you guys have an awesome day. Hope you guys have an awesome week in the gym. And I will see you around.